I kick ass for the Lord.
Hello everyone, Alpha Eagle here again. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and may God bless you all. Just for fair warning, in this video I'm going to be talking about religion, which is a sensitive topic for many people. So what I will say might make some people mad. So in other words, it's going to be exactly the same as my other videos. As I said before, I get a lot of my content from Nerdette's Newsstand's community page, and boy, this is a doozy. This video doesn't have much to do with Tristen herself, but I found it very interesting that Tristen, who claims to be a Christian, would share this video. Here's what Tristen had to say about her faith.
I am not anti-Christian. I believe in God. I am Christian.
Sound very confident in that statement, Tristen. Anyway, Tristen shared a video of this guy called Hyperhumanity, or Hyperhumanity Reborn, and in this video he claims that the Christian God is actually the devil, and that the Bible is the story of the devil. That's not a video that a Christian would share, Tristen. Now, to be fair, Tristen didn't say that she agreed with this guy, but the simple act of sharing his video is not a good look for you, Tristen. For those of you who came to see me criticize Tristen, sorry, that's pretty much all I had to say about her. The main focus on this video will be on this guy, Hyperhumanity Reborn. For full disclosure, I'll tell you all my history with religion. As a child, I was raised Christian. For several years of my life, I went to church every Sunday. When one day, our family stopped going when my father, while remaining a very religious man himself, decided that he didn't like what was being taught in that specific church we went to. After that, for several decades of my life, I went through several different phases. At some points, I was agnostic and even atheist. So I was actually very similar to this guy at different points in my life. Now, I am a Christian. I believe in God, and I have accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. However, I do not belong to any specific sect or denomination of Christianity. So I guess I would be non-denominational. My return to the flock is very recent, so I don't claim to be any expert in Christianity. I'm also not an expert in history, and I say this because this guy in this video also talks about history. The point I'm trying to make here is that this guy's arguments are so bad, weak, and pathetic that even a novice in Christianity and history like myself can debunk his arguments. A child could debunk this guy. I'd like to say this guy is obviously a left-winger, and I don't think it's hyperbolic to call him a commie, and that will become apparent very soon. Also, he is an anti-Christian religious bigot, and the reason why I say this is that he specifically targets Christianity because he thinks we are an easy target. He doesn't attack other religions. He doesn't go after Buddhism, Hinduism, or any other ancient religions. He also wouldn't dare go after Judaism for fear of being called an anti-Semitic. And he sure as heck wouldn't go after Islam for fear of being called a racist, even though Muslim is not a race. And to be fair, he hates all Abrahamic religions, but he focuses his attacks on Christianity. Anyway, let's finally get to the video.
1. Christian supremacy uses God to justify its bigotry.
First, he seems to be making a response to this woman who claims that Christian supremacy is a bigger threat than white supremacy. He seems to agree with her, so right off the bat, they let you know that they are crazy leftist commies because they are the only type of people who would actually believe either of those absurd notions. White supremacy is not even a thing these days. Sure, white supremacists do exist, but they are in so little numbers and have no power that they're not even worth being concerned about. And the ones who do exist see white supremacy as more of an ideology as opposed to an actual movement that they would act on. As far as the absurd notion of Christian supremacy goes, I'm sure these people know that there are a ton of non-white Christians all over the world who willingly, openly, and freely practice Christianity out of their own free will. They are not being forced to do so. Christians are not forcing their religion onto anyone. Sure, Christians want their religion to be the dominant religion around the world, but all religions want that. But it's simply because they believe that their religion is the correct one. And they do this by spreading the word and convincing people that Christianity is the superior religion. Then people choose to either become Christian or not. There's no forcing or dominating going on here. Move on.
What I find extremely fascinating, the definition of the devil in the Bible is an evil spirit who tempts and motivates people to commit evil acts while pretending to be God. In other words, the devil is an evil spirit who pretends to be the angel of light or a god of good and then gets his followers to commit evil atrocities in his name, thinking that they're in fact following God when they're really following the devil.
That's true. The devil is the great deceiver. He is a liar. That's why I try to be as honest as I can, because I don't want to be like the devil. And that's also why a lot of people don't like what I have to say, because I'm too honest and straightforward. And many people don't like that. Now he's going to suggest that the Christian God is actually the devil because he thinks the things that God does is actually evil. Does this guy think that the Christian God is the devil and not, say, other gods? If you look at most other religions, their gods do some bad things. For example, in some ancient religions, their gods would transform into animals and rape women. So why does he think that the Christian God is the devil and not any of these other countless other gods? Simple, because he's an anti-Christian bigot.
And doesn't this make a lot more sense when we look at the history of Christianity, the Inquisitions, the Crusades, the witch burning?
I love that he has to bring up the Inquisitions, the Crusades, and witch burnings to find supposed bad things that people claiming to be Christians have done. Think about that. He had to go back hundreds and possibly thousands of years to find something bad that people claiming to be Christians have done. The Crusades were awesome. It's not something to be ashamed of as a Christian. People often think of Christians as weak, timid people, but we sure can kick ass if we need to.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Whipped the money changers in the church, David slayed Goliath, and the Christians fought back against the foreign invaders who raped, pillaged, burned, and plundered the people and land of Europe during the Crusades. The Crusades were all about justice, not evil. And God is all about justice. That's why hell exists, to punish those who do evil and to bring justice to those who are victims of evil. And that's what the Crusades were all about. Anyone who teaches otherwise wants to push hate of Christians, especially the hate of white Christians. Now, why doesn't he bring up a more recent event? I don't know, something like 9/11. Remind me again, what religion inspired 9/11? I can't remember. Was it the Christians who killed over 3,000 innocent people in one attack on one day? I don't think so.
The Catholic priests' atrocities against little kids?
Well, to be fair, let's talk about the most recent event on his list, the abuse of children by people in the Catholic Church. Commies love to use this to attack and trigger Christians, but it never works to trigger me since, guess what? I'm not Catholic. Like I said earlier, I'm non-denominational. Now, I don't want to offend anyone who is Catholic. I'm fine with anyone who is Catholic. Catholics, just like anyone in any group, shouldn't be blamed for the actions of a few people in their religion. Now, here is where I'm going to get a lot of people mad at me. Catholics, I don't care for your current pope. He comes off as a commie SJW to me. Now, that's just my opinion. There are some bad people in your leadership abusing children. That's just a fact. And I believe the Catholic Church has addressed this and is doing something about it. And it has to be a continuous effort to solve this problem. Also, you have a lot of commies in your religion. I mean, Joe Biden claims to be Catholic. You need to work on your commie problem. Again, I'd like to stress that that doesn't mean that I hate Catholics. In fact, I'm sure that there might be some Catholics who agree with me. Anyway, back to talking about the video. He claims that God is evil because of all of these supposed evil events like the Inquisitions, witch burnings, and Crusades. Okay, Let's say, hypothetically, that the Crusades were evil. Regardless, they were actions done by humans, not God. So how is God the evil one in those scenarios? God was not the one who burned the witches in Salem, so why does he get the blame? Some may argue, well, the people who did these supposed evil acts said that God told them to do it. Well, I'd like to see some proof that God told them to do it. Otherwise, God is not to blame. So nice try, Hyperhumanity Reborn. What else you got?
White supremacy, colonization.
And there it is. White supremacy and colonization. The obvious sign that this guy is a commie, left-wing, America-hating, self-hating white man. We've already talked about the basically non-existence of modern-day white supremacy, so let's talk about colonization. And just to be clear, whenever these white-hating commies talk about colonization, they are always talking about white colonizers, and they ignore the colonization that was done by other races. Like the Crusades, many instances of colonization is awesome. The white man brought order, civilization, invention, and knowledge to the lands they colonized. Without colonization, many of the people would not have many of the modern conveniences that we take for granted every day. So yes, colonization is awesome. And even if you take the viewpoint that colonization is evil, again, it was done by man, not by God. So how can he blame God for it and portray God as the evil one? Let's see what else you got, Kami.
The God of the Bible is defined as angry, hateful, and jealous.
The Christian God is not defined as angry, hateful, and jealous. That's just your poor interpretation. Anyone might think that way about him if you have a warped view of how things are. Again, this is the same guy who saw the Crusades and colonization as evil, where I see them as awesome. But let's say that this guy is right and God is angry, hateful, and jealous. So what? Who has not experienced those emotions? Who has not felt anger, jealousy, or even hate at some time or another? That doesn't make you evil, it makes you human. So why would God be evil if he had those emotions? You're not making God sound evil. If anything, you're making him sound relatable. You're bad at this, Kami.
And kills innocent people.
Okay, I've seen some of this guy's other videos, and when he says God kills innocent people, I think he's referring to Noah and the Great Flood. The flood was God's do-over. God saw so much wickedness in the world, and he decided, screw it, I'm going to start all over again. It's much like when you're playing a video game and you're doing so poorly that you decide to give up and start all over from the beginning. Anyway, this commie is arguing that it's impossible for everyone that died in the flood to have been wicked. There had to have been some innocent people down there, including children. Well, guess what? Those innocent people went to heaven. And if you ask me, he did those people a favor. While they might have missed out on a lifetime of good days, they also missed out on a lifetime of bad days. And now that they are in heaven, all they experience are good days. So again, how is God the evil one? By the way, God put a rainbow in the sky as a promise that he wouldn't flood the earth ever again. A rainbow that the gay people have appropriated and turned to a symbol of sin, but that's for another time.
And even supports slavery and teaches you how to own a person.
Okay, here they go again with slavery. That's another red flag that tells you that this guy is a commie. They can't stop talking about slavery. And remember, when the commies talk about slavery, they always talk about slavery in America when white people owned black slaves. But they always ignore when non-white people owned other slaves. It's just another excuse to hate on America and white people. And they dismiss the fact that white people were slaves in America, and they call it indentured servitude. And they don't see it as bad as what they call chattel slavery, because in their minds they want to diminish any suffering white people have experienced, because only white people can be the oppressor and everyone else is the oppressed in their minds. So I have to ask this commie, what kind of slavery are you talking about here? Are you talking about chattel slavery, or are you talking about indentured servitude, which he thinks is not that bad? Regardless, there are 4 simple words said by Moses that proves that God was not cool with slavery. Let my people go. Now,
Let my people go.
The slaves are mine. Their lives are mine. All that they own is mine. I do not know your God, nor will I let Israel go.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? Man shall be ruled by law, not by the will of other men.
now, why would God be in favor of slavery if he helped Moses free his people from slavery?
Doesn't the Bible make a lot more sense when it's not the biography of God, but actually the biography of the devil?
And I'll end with this final kicker here. This guy doesn't even believe in God. So how can a being that he doesn't even believe in be evil? Let me put it another way. This guy thinks that God is evil because he killed innocent people during the Great Flood. But he doesn't believe that the Great Flood even happened. So how can God be evil if the action that you think makes him evil never happened? This guy reminds me of Tristen. Tristen thinks that I'm a bad person because I contacted her sponsor. But I never contacted her sponsor. So then how can I be a bad person? I welcome this anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-American commie bigot to a debate, even though I'm a Christianity and history novice who has already proven him wrong. Anyway, I'm Alpha Eagle. God bless you for watching. God bless America. And I pray that this Hyperhumanity Reborn guy will grow up, stop trying to be edgy, and stop hating white people, America, and Christians.